on Startup Report is Bridget Bello, who is the CEO, publisher of Tampa Bay Business and Wealth magazine, and I will say the queen of all things business media in Tampa Bay.
Thanks.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thanks for having me.
So one of the things, the main reason we're here is to talk about our new action and venture content, which will be going out in the next, the May edition of Tampa Bay Business and Wealth, which will feature some great startups. And it's a continuation of featuring great startups, which you started a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
So why did you want that content in your in Tampa Bay Business and Wealth?
I wanted that content for a lot of reasons. I wanted to find a way that I could affect the startups, and it isn't through investing because all of my money is in Tampa Bay Business and Wealth. But we have a rising tides mentality at the magazine. It's how do we help the startups, the nonprofits, the CEOs that are completely off the radar, the economic development agencies, the companies that are here. A lot of the content that we run is about things that other news outlets might not report on.
Yeah, and I thought that was really cool. I had sort of just a general assumption that you're going to be profiling CEOs, but you consistently are spreading the message of it is about the nonprofits, and it is about startups, and it is about the CEOs who aren't the limelight CEOs, we'll call them. And you're really pretty serious about making sure all those folks are represented in what you do. It's cool.
Thank you. I'm really proud of what we've been able to do so far, and we plan to keep doing it.
So you've been at you've had the front row for the evolution of our startup space and our equity investing space. And how are you feeling now versus 5 years ago and 10 years ago? What's changed?
Oh gosh, so many things have changed. I remember, and I was telling my daughter this story the other day, I remember sitting in rooms where we would say, we don't talk to our kids about being entrepreneurs. Like when you talk about what do you want to be when you grow up, that was never a part of the conversation. And we would say, well, they do it on the West Coast. And on the West Coast, they talk about, when you grow up, you could be an entrepreneur. And my daughter graduates May 5th with an entrepreneurship degree from USF St. Pete, So yeah, it makes me feel old and sound old, but I have been a part of those conversations for a really long time. And I think we've come a long way, come a really long way. And I think we're still kind of the best kept secret in that space. And that's, again, part of what I'm trying to change by telling those stories is we do have some amazing startup tech companies here. And we do have an amazing ecosystem to support them. And we have investors and we have people who want to be a part of it. We just do it a lot quieter than some other communities. So it's time to change that.
How has it been moving, from the weekly to the monthly publication?
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's very different than I expected. I thought it was going to be kind of more of the same. I never know what month it is. We're working on June now. And so I have to remind myself, it's only April and, we're not there yet. 6-week deadlines that far out make things interesting from a reporting standpoint. We always have to go back and say, okay, is this still the same? Has this changed? What have you done since? And but yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a very different world. And I don't even necessarily know how to put it into words for you, but it's been fantastic.
Well, and certainly the content model has changed in that with news, you sort of are getting in there quick with the facts. But now you're sort of almost, akin to like the Atlantic Monthly where, you have to get a little deeper. You have to bring some insight. And, but also gives you the freedom to do that. Is that felt like freedom, or does that feel like a large ask?
No, it does feel like freedom. Very much feels like freedom. When we were talking earlier and she was like, oh, big news day tomorrow. I was like, yeah, we don't have those anymore. And it's really nice. That's not to say we don't break news. We do.
Sure, yeah.
It's just, it's not the frenzy for information that, we have to be first and we have to get this out there and it has to be faster than anyone else. And so there's been a lot of freedom in those deep dives and more profiles and insight and really getting to know those people all the way through to, what do you do on Saturdays and Sundays and on your free time and vacations and, everything that we can get them to talk about.
Yeah. And I'm personally proud. I think what we're able to do with this partnership does a lot for economic development. If you think about a startup in the area that we're able to offer them this profile, that they've entered, that they've hand built, that lives out there forever, that we have the show Startup Report, and now we have this great distribution through Tampa Bay Business and Wealth, and certainly our connections to the some of the power brokers in the area whether it be through seed funders or all of your relationships, is a really great vehicle for startups to get their name out there and get the kind of support, from money to mentorship that they might not be able to get without it.
Absolutely. I think I told you this, but I'll tell you again if I didn't. When I first met Lakshmi from Embark, she had been here for about 4 months at the time. And when I kind of went through my little, 20-second elevator pitch about what the magazine was going to be, she said, "Thank God." And I was like, from somebody that had not been here, and she was very excited about the product for somebody who it didn't make sense to be excited about the product. And she talked about her experience in Chicago and how when she would try to get exposure for her startups, they had a list and they would just go down this list until they got somebody that would say, "Yes, we'll cover it." She said, "There's no list here. There's 2 options."
Right.
And so she was so excited that there was going to be another place for them to get some exposure. And that was kind of the beginning of, okay, how do we make this work?
Yeah, and it's critical. Obviously, it's no secret that this was a real estate town, and that's where the money went. And as we put these startups out there, it just gets everybody more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Like you said, entrepreneurship now, people are comfortable with it. It's almost a fad, and a lot of people are getting into it and tech investing. And now the new vehicles like Florida funders and seed funders make investing in companies accessible to any accredited investor. They can just throw in a small amount of money relatively, not have to put 7 figures in to even try the space out. So,
well, and just because I have the floor, and because the people that listen to your show are the people that need to hear this message, we have a different issue with that entrepreneurship degree now. And I was talking to the guy that's the head of, it's CEOs is the acronym. It's College Entrepreneurs Organization at UT. And he was saying employers don't know what to do with entrepreneurship grads. And as my daughter's graduating with that degree, I'm finding out that he's right. They don't know what to do with them. And so if there is an employer that's listening or watching, the message is they have a general business degree.
Right.
They're just taught to think differently.
Right.
And some of the exercises that she went through and that I would go through with her, because she'd be like, "Mom," I was like, this is really cool. One of her assignments was whatever room you're in, look around and figure out what you can make out of the things in that room.
Mm-hmm.
And she came up with this fantastic thing that she made out of that I would have never,
right.
But so getting our employers to know what to do with these entrepreneurship grads is, I think, another important step in kind of the evolution of this conversation that we're having, because in other markets, they do know what to do with them.
Sure. Yeah. And what a lot of corporations are finding out the hard way is you have to, if you don't innovate and put yourself out of business, somebody else will. And so that understanding and that thinking has a place inside of companies now, because things are moving so fast that if you're not thinking like that, you could be, you could be taxis to Uber and hotels to Airbnb. Yeah.
Yep.
So entrepreneurship is a term that's been around for a while. So there's an appreciation of that, but a lot of corporations need people to run their internal divisions and almost like entrepreneurs. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for coming in. It's good to see you as always. And we'll look for the May issue of Tampa Bay Business and Wealth. And if people aren't on the mailing list for that, how can they? Obviously, get to the website. Is there a way to get physical copies of it?
Every issue is on our website, TBBWmag.com. So they can see all the past issues and the May 1st issue on May 1st. Or they can call and buy additional copies if they'd like.
Wonderful. Cool. All right. Good to see you as always.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You too.